Hey everyone, this is Amber. Some of you have heard my story. Some of you have heard me personally tell it to you. You've seen the posts on Facebook that I post, or you've probably are going to be hearing this for the first time. After many people writing to me and saying, Amber, you really need to do this. I want to be able to share your story, but with a video. I've decided, without crying, that I'm going to try to do this. So you're probably wondering why I'm holding up these pants. These pants are actually the pants I wore to my first doctor's appointment that changed my life forever. These are a size 24, and these are the pants that when I went to my doctor's appointment, my doctor told me I was going to die. As I was sitting there waiting for my regular checkup, I had no idea of what was going to take place. My doctor basically told me, looked at me, she had this very sad face, and in my head I'm like, oh, that can't be good. And I said to her, is everything okay? Somebody dying out there? You need to talk to them. You can. I'll wait another 15 minutes. It's okay. She goes, no, Amber, that patient's you. Um, and I'm like, what do you mean? I'm okay, right? Right? I think so. She goes, no, you're not. You're going to die. She goes, your blood sugars are out of control, and I'm surprised you don't have diabetes. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. Now, I was diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome when I was 19, which basically prevents infertility, and it's an emotional battle to know that you possibly could never have children. But at the age of 19, I thought, oh, it's just like a cold, it'll go away. Doctors always coming up with a new disease every 5 minutes anyway. It's not a big deal. Well, apparently my polycystic ovarian syndrome was what contributed to me gaining weight because I just kept eating and I kept eating and I wasn't watching what I was eating. And I would eat when I was happy. I'd eat when I was sad. And when I was hungry, I sure ate. When I was missing my husband, I was eating. When I didn't talk to him for a few days when he was in Afghanistan, I was still eating. And I just remember looking at her and saying, she is serious about this. Like, this isn't a joke. Like, this is supposed to be a regular checkup, and here I am getting my death sentence. And I just remember getting on this scale and it saying 307 pounds, and my heart sank. Because 307 pounds for a 23-year-old, I don't even know what they classify that. It's probably over morbidly obese. It's probably like two days away from death. And I remember saying to her, I appreciate her time, her information. She prescribed me medication. I'm like, let me just get my prescription and I'll be on my way out. And I remember telling her politely, I do appreciate what you're telling me, but right now you're just a tool. You don't decide if I live or if I die. That's not, you don't have the final say over my life. And I remember walking out of the office and just taking in everything I was just told, and where I was so oblivious to the fact that I was that heavy. I thought maybe 240, that'd probably be justifiable. Size 24, so what? That at that time in my life, I didn't really think that size for my pants mattered. But I knew that while I would go shopping, I couldn't go a size up. I was gonna just get my clothes specially made. Where do you go from a size 24? They don't sell those type of sizes in the stores. So I said, and I just sat there crying and crying, and I'm like, God, I really need you to help me. I really need something. Well, a couple of days later, my husband said, Amber, I want you to talk to my coworker's wife. I was like, oh, again, really? What is this about this time? I was so hurt about what I was just told, and it took me a while to process it all. And my husband telling me that I need to talk to this woman who promoted the 90-day challenge was a little offensive. Like, what are you trying to say here? Like, I didn't know you thought I had a problem. He's like, I just want you to be healthy. That's all I want. So, and my husband, he's a huge supporter of me, and I'm so blessed to have him in my life, because it wasn't for him saying, Amber, I need you to talk to this girl, I'd probably be dead by now, for sure. So I started the 90-day challenge February 1st, after much hesitation, much hesitation. I remember telling Valerie, I can't do this. This can't be what I need. I think this is bogus. How are you going to tell me that I'm supposed to lose weight taking a shake a day? But after I did my own research, I realized that it wasn't more of a meal replacement. It was more of the nutrition that was important. So my first 30 days out of the 90, I dropped 15 pounds. And in my first 30 days, I was very hesitant. I didn't think, I just thought, I went to shop because I saw my nutritionist. She's like, this is a great program for you. You can do this. And she told me what I couldn't eat and what I could eat. And I really contributed my weight loss to just me. This was everything I did. This wasn't anything anybody else did for me. But then I sat back and I was like, really? God lined up all these people just for me. He knew that I was going to go to the doctors in January and I was going to be told I was going to die. That wasn't a surprise for him. He knew that I was going to meet Valerie and that Valerie was going to introduce me to this 90-day challenge that I needed. And he knew that my nutritionist was going to really be the one to motivate me and tell me, you can do this. Um, and I remember when in March, before my husband came home, I had lost about 20 pounds. And I remember God speaking to me and saying, Amber, go get the life that I've already set out for you to live. And I remember just crying when I heard that, because I always thought that when I was 307 pounds, that was the life God wanted for me. I thought that, well, if you can't accept me the way I am, then God just made me this way, deal with it. Um, and then I remember God didn't make me to be sad all the time. God didn't make me to be depressed. God didn't make me to feel that I was inadequate. God didn't want me to sleep on my couch because I couldn't go up the stairs. God didn't want me to be out of breath. God didn't want me to be in pain. God definitely didn't want me to be sad all the time. And I remember that. Um, and in March was really when my life took a turnaround. And I started to meet people who were struggling, who came from a place where I had just came from. And I remember just talking to them and sharing the love of God with them and saying, you can do this. God loves you, but he wants the best for you too. I remember that. And I sit here now, 95 pounds lighter, and so thankful, from my doctor to all the people who shared my story, because I don't ever want any credit for this. Because if it wasn't for God, he could have chose to end my life. He could have chose to say, nope, I'm done, you're done, that's it, bye. Um, but he didn't. He wanted me to live um, this life so that I could go out and tell everybody that even though you're struggling, no matter what it be, if you surrender all that, every single ounce of that pain to God, he can save you. I went from not running at all to running 6 miles a day. I went from throwing up because I was so guilty of what I was eating to having the satisfaction of knowing that I'm making the right choices now. I went from being told I'd never have children to my doctors and my nutritionist not knowing what happened to me, seeing a different person, and just knowing that I've been saved together. Um, I've almost died. I can't even imagine if I didn't take this challenge, if I didn't meet the people that I've met, if I didn't surrender everything to God, where I'd be. I could be 400 pounds or I could be dead. And I share my story because it's very emotional for me to talk about a lot of the times, because I almost died. And I'm just so thankful that, one, you taking the time to hear my story, and I really just pray that with every word you hear me say, that it touches your heart to know that you will struggle, you will have hard times, but with God, you can overcome all of that and more. Thank you.